Hey everybody, it's your girl, Charlotte Van Horn. Black Expats in Panama, your favorite CEO. And I am out here walking and talking with you, baby. How y'all doing? It is Thursday and it's getting close to the weekend, but entrepreneurs know weekend don't mean nothing, okay? It's just like, every day is a day that you do what you do. Some days you do more and some days you do less, but you always doing what you do, okay? Buen dia. And so anyway, so I'm out here in the streets today because we're getting ready for our BEIP tour number 52. 52. Do you hear the words that's coming out of my mouth? 52. We are about to do 52. And I just met with them. We did our final Zoom last night, and I am so excited about this group. They are so excited about coming. Our cultural Caribbean day. I want to say we have 2 spaces left for that. If you want to come on the cultural Caribbean day on September 3rd. And let me tell you something else about this cultural Caribbean day. That it is the last one that we'll do until December 3rd. So, like every year, we don't tour in Panama because of the more likelihood that our plans are going to get rained out or something like that. So I just decided from the very beginning that I wouldn't do it because I don't need the stress, you understand? And I don't want to have people disappointed because we weren't able to do things, you know what I mean? So I just decided not to do it. I'm so glad that I did because in addition to, the rain factor, it's also a me factor. Y'all, you know something? I think that sometimes people, you probably don't even imagine all of the things that go into, the back office, the back end of what we do and what you see as far as these tours and whatnot. Because if you think about it, this is 52, tour number 52 of Black Expats in Panama, cultural relocation tour. If you think about over the last 12 months, okay, we've been to Ghana twice. We've done 5 Colombian tours. We've done Brazil. We went to Brazil. I have South Africa coming up in November. Okay, let me turn it right here. I have South Africa coming up in November. We got, what else have we done? Oh, and then besides that, we do the Sisters Retreat. The Sisters Retreat, by the way, for January 2027 is absolutely locked down, sold out. There's no more space for that. The Curaçao tour that we just launched is for anybody that's interested in that. Get your ticket now because the tour sold out really fast the first couple days that we launched it. And I think literally we have about 10 spaces left, okay, for the Curaçao tour. But I'm saying all that to say, then you have the regular events, not pop-ups, but regular events that we do. We do Cafe and Conversation, which I think was the first official monthly event that we started. And I think it turned 4 years. We've been doing it for 4 years in August. And I think Welcome Wednesday and Business to Business are about the same age. We've been doing those for about 3 years, 3 years each. So that's every month, doing them, not to mention the other events that we've enjoyed throughout the year. This year, the last 12 months, we've had some major events. We had the 50th tour, 5-year celebration. We also had the Chariot, for those of you who haven't seen Black Expats in Panama mini documentary. I'm trying this new cleaner today. Did I just pass it? No. Yes, for those of you who have not seen the Chariot mini documentary, we had a big old thing with that. We had the BEIP Awards. Remember the BEIP Awards? And I did something several years ago, and I think I'm about to come back to it. Why I'm not seeing the daggone dry cleaner today? Okay, am I tripping? All right, so yeah, we get ready to do something that we haven't done in a while. It's just so interesting to see how things change over the years, because we are literally about to celebrate 7 years of meetups in Panama City. The first meetup that we did was in Panama City in November of 2019. Can you believe it? 2019 we did that. And so, hold on a second. I think I got my little shopping centers mixed up. That's right. The new dry cleaner is in the other shopping center where I go to the market. This shopping center right here, let me just show y'all where I'm at. This shopping center right here is Paseo Drive. It's got Felipe Mota, has the bank, has a lot of Little Caesars. I haven't been feeling their little chicken wings lately, but I usually like them. So these are some of the things that are in this one. They got a new one coming, Sora Coffee. They got a little boutique there that I want to look at. And oh my God, that Luwak coffee right here, that's nice. I go in there, they're so nice. It's like one of the few places that I see. And of course you got Burger King and Popeyes. And then you have DDP for men. So they have a DDP. I like DDP. They have DDP, like a general DDP that has for everybody. But anyway, I'm just going on to say that we really need to deal with self-care, y'all. And I know people are always asking me, girl, when do you rest? And I do, I do rest. It may not be the way you rest, but I do rest. And I actually, when I don't have to be out, I'm not. Majority of the times, when you see me out, it's a group event. What I focus on as far as me being out is, the people. There are so many people that live here in Panama City who are like my family. So many of people, if you go to any of these events and people start calling out their BEIP tour number, that's because BEIP tours doesn't stop with the tour. Absolutely not. It is about relationships that are not built overnight. So just think about it. I have people who are living here in Panama, expats that are living here in Panama that took my tour over 5 years ago, and we're still connected. So of course, my schedule is very busy, but baby, everybody's always like, I said, why y'all didn't invite me? And so many times I get that everybody thinks I'm too busy. And guess what? The difference between me and a lot of other Black expats that live here is, baby, I got a J-O-B. This is true. I work a lot. And the difference between me and most of my friends here is that they in a different space in their life where they are more retired. And what they work a lot at is having a lot of fun, okay? They have a lot of fun. And so, yes. But what I want people to know, always want you to know, listen, if you got something special going on, at least let your girl know. Because if you are my friend and you have supported work that I've done, It is about reciprocity and love, baby. I am there. There's something important happening with you, something you're trying to develop. You let me know. It is all about relationship for me. It's not about coming and going. It's about show enough relationship. You know, we have one client, sister friend, and her name is Dr. Thyon Gordon. I think her last name is Gordon. She has come on 2 of our cultural relocation tours, and she's doing some research on what they call the blue zones. And I'm going to post her video. Oh my goodness, she's doing like a docu-series on the blue zone, and she calls it the black blue zone. She's trying to figure out, okay, so the blue zone are those places that people just tend to live longer, okay, better lives. And she's researching, and there's some that came up, can't remember them at the moment. Panama was not one of them. However, when I watched her first part of the docu series that she did, you know, so much of what she was saying and the other people who she interviewed was saying was so much of what I say and what people who live in international spaces say. And at the end of the day, ew, what's that? Ew, that's weird. At the end of the day, a big part of this is community. And one of the things that people say about living here in Panama, and probably other places too, you know, but, you know, Panama is my expertise, you know, and I've been coming to Panama for over 20 years. My husband and I invested in Panama 16 years ago. Our house was built, and we moved. We had the house for over 14 years. You know, I've been here full time out of all that time for over 5 years now, and we're almost 5 years. You know, I've done different businesses here, so you know, I do have some experience about living here, about doing business here and stuff like that. But what I can tell you, the biggest thing is community. The community. So basically, when I talk about community, I was somewhere, and I wish I could claim this for myself. I always say this, but I can't. But I have, but I'm just saying, okay, take a little break before I go here in this store. I'm gonna try this new cleaners out, because them cleaners, okay, that Alfredo been using, I'm tired of them. Remind me to talk about service, okay, sometime. But anyway, somebody said when I was in Ghana, somebody said, community is in our DNA. Baby, let me tell you something. That thing, that hit deep, because it's true, y'all. Think about it. It's really true. It is in our DNA. When I grew up in small town Glassboro, New Jersey, and, you know, I went to a school that was the smallest high school, I think, in New Jersey at the time. My graduating class had 85 people in it. A majority of those people I had gone to school with from 1st grade to 12th grade. This is how life was back then. In my neighborhood, everybody knew you. Everybody knew me by my nose. They knew me by my nose. You could spot a Hickenbottom by their nose, okay? And they knew I was Charlotte's baby. That's my mother's name, was Charlotte. My mother's name is Charlotte. She will always live in my heart. And all of our parents had gone to school with each other. We had community, y'all. We had community. We were raised alongside of our cousins. You know, the sisters, you know, my mom was always one of them ones that is willing to help other people, even with this little, you know, as she had. You know, my mom could make a do what it do. Oh, okay, he's making a video. I'll finish when I come out, okay? I'm gonna go in here in this drugstore and see in this cleaner, see what they talking about. I'll be right back. Okay, well, they're going to be hard pressed to get my business. Hold on a second. Because what kind of dry cleaners don't open till 8:30? Get out of here. You know what? Dry cleaner need to open early. So anyway, I got my little couple of shirts that I want to, put as an example. It was so sweet back there. You know what happened was there was a gentleman who needed to use like a loud piece of equipment to blow whatever area, whatever. And he was like, zoom, zoom. He like made like little short noises like, I see you doing something, but I need to make some noise here. I thought that was so sweet, rather than him just starting to just go in loud, because you can still hear it. Okay, buenas, thank you. Gracias. Que tengas un buen día. So I thought that was so nice. Panama, the people are just so much more polite, for the most part, than some other places that you might visit, especially up north in the U.S. of A. So now I got to go in the grocery store. But let me finish what I was saying about community. What I was saying about community is that we had that back in the day. We had that during segregation, during Jim Crow, during these hard, rough times that black people have had to survive here in the United States. It was just community. I mean, just imagine, enslaved people, how, it was the master that separated them and made this rift, the house and the field and the light skin, the dark skin, the old, the young. They pitted us against each other. And honestly, guys, I do believe that has carried over. And whether you believe the Willie Lynch speech or not, that Willie Lynch really was a person that spoke out there in Virginia about, seeing slaves swinging from the tree when he came up, and it was because, these white people didn't know how to, control their capital. Whether you believe that's a legend or if it was true, what I can say, I definitely ain't no scholar and I haven't researched it that deep, but I'm gonna tell you something. What he said was true, and he said that if you separate the blacks in this way, they will perpetuate that for 300 years, or more. And when you think about us talking about, East Side and West Side and, the rivalries that we have with each other, the way that we are, I talked last time about the white man's ice being colder and whatnot, and the way that we are with each other when it comes to business, when we're never expecting the best. Or I shouldn't say never, I'm too old to say never. So many times we're not expecting the best. We're not expecting the best and of each other. And I think that is sad. See a lot of that. The more people that come to Panama, as black expats, the more you're recognizing these kinds of behaviors. However, I'm not going to let that darken me on a majority of the black expats that are here, because that's just not true. It's just like anything else. It's like the more people you have in a space, the more characteristics you're going to have in those people. So don't even trip that there's some, crabs in the barrel here. There, people that don't, just that's not my conversation. What I'm talking about is community. So many of us have left the United States and moved to Panama, Colombia, or wherever your choice of relocation was. And first of all, a lot of us have more time because a lot of us are in that retirement mode. And we have more time to focus on each other. you know, and in Panama, with black expats in Panama, and let's be clear, black expats in Panama is a few things. Black expats in Panama is a business. Black expats in Panama is a community. There is no such thing as a black expats in Panama group. Okay? I don't do groups like that. Okay? We have a Facebook group. You know, we have groups for other countries as well. But there is no black expats in Panama group. We are all black expats in Panama. It's just that I own the name. Okay? Don't that part. But anyway, when we come, we connect. And we connect, guys, in a way that we forgot what connecting was about. We've grown up, we've grown so far from the community that we grew up in, where everybody knew everybody. You know, the world, we were able to stretch out. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm telling you something, there's something about coming here and connecting again with community and realizing what you really was missing. Didn't even know you was missing. We are so, typically in the United States, we are so busy getting more. We are so busy getting more. We are going to work, you know, and that's why we come to Latin America and they be like, y'all be doing too much. Y'all be doing too much. This is a job. Keep it in perspective. What's important is your family, fool. You know, and of course there has to be that balance. But I'm telling you, people come here and it's like, you have more friends here in 3 months, 6 months than you've made or had in the last 10 plus years in the United States, because your focus is different. Your focus is different and everybody is seeking community. Don't talk about black expats and say that we want to be a monolith, or, you know, we don't stretch out, because we do. We like to embrace each other, and we should. But we also embrace our Panamanian sisters and brothers. And if you want to know that for sure, you ask. You ask around. You ask the peoples. You ask the Panamanians, you know, about that. And a lot, of course, you got, like I said, the more black expats you have coming, the more you're going to have characteristics, okay? But if you ask a lot of Panamanians, they enjoy us and we enjoy them. And black expats, a lot of us live with Panamanians. I live with Panamanians. I live with Panamanians, Venezuelans, Colombians, and I'm grateful because I'm always having to keep practicing my Spanish. Even though I'm in the suburbs, you know, I'm not in no, you know, community where it's just us. But being able to connect and have people who relate to the experience that you're having, for us to be able to draw on each other's experience and share, and to know that, you know, when somebody haven't heard from you in a day or two, and you getting a text or 10 texts, and we're like, where you at? What you doing? You know, my girl T was out of town, and I can't keep up because these black expats, baby, let me tell you, when I tell you we are seeing the world and living our best life, that's what I mean. That's what I mean out here in these Panama streets. You know, my friends here, they be like, no, we were in Europe. We were in Spain. We were in wherever. We were in, I mean, I just can't even think of some of the places now that these folk be. But they be there, okay? And that's so lovely. But when they come back, they got community here. And community helps us live longer. And believe it or not, I actually remembered how all that started. And it started because I was thinking about Dr. Thayon. And I'm going to share her video, her mini, the first part of her docuseries. And it's called The Black Blue Zone. And you guys are going to love it. And, you know, one thing I think that she makes really clear as well is it's not about where you live. It's about how you live. And community is a big part of longevity. You know, it's good for our hearts, our souls. Listen, praise God, I'm 62 years old, y'all. I'm not on one medication. Not one. I'm so grateful and blessed for that. There are people here. I remember, you know, almost 5 years ago, I met this sister who has since moved on. But she came here with all kind of problems. And what she realized right away was leaving the United States gave her her life back, because she was so debilitated with all of the medical issues that she was having, that she wasn't living her best life, right? And at the end of the day, so much of what we experience when it comes to negativity you know, in living our life is from stress. When it comes to negativity, I mean as far as medical, stress can kill you. When people come on our tours and we prep them on what to expect when they get to Panama and everything, I advise them, listen, relax. Relax. You know, we don't know how uptight we are until you get to someplace else and nobody's moving fast enough. Oh my God. And even still, after all these years, yes, I am still having to deal with that and having to, you know, manage my expectations. And, you know, I'm just going on and on. Again, I ain't had it. It's been over a week since I did a Walking and Talking with You. When I leave here today, I'm going to be doing so many other stuff. I don't know when I get to do another one. So I'm sorry, you know, that I'm talking so long. And then y'all done made me forget what I was going to say. Just that fast. But I'm not on any drugs. And when you are that age and you're coming and you're starting to see, wow, you know, my joints aren't aching. You know, I'm losing weight. I'm eating better. Like, oh my goodness, the food in the United States is scary, you know, right now. It makes a difference. And if you trying to live and be that blue zone, it's not the blue zone. It's how you live in that blue zone. Community, food, managing your stress, all of that is going to be a big part of your longevity. And at the end of the day, I just want to be happy. I just want to be peaceful. And that's what's important to me. You know, I've gotten to the place where, you know, we're always growing, always learning. And I think when I was about 50 years old, I learned a lesson about stress when I was very young. And that was, you know, when my mother passed. And, you know, my mom died, I was 23. And I was the youngest of 5 children. And the oldest was 5 years older than me, 28. My mom had kids every year, right? And, but like Ray Diva say, all my mom's kids match. But when she died, we just didn't know how to. It was 1987, and I just think that none of us really knew how at that time to express or manage or deal with the grief of losing our mom. You know, she was 45 years old. We know so much more now, you know, but back then I got really sick, y'all. I got so sick I couldn't lift my head off the pillow. I was sick, and I was sick for a little while. And I remember when I went to the doctor, he said I had acute viremia, which was, I guess, a severe virus that is brought on by stress. You know, he said that I was sick because of stress, and I never forgot that. And so I've, over the years since then, tried to manage my stress. And since I think when I was around 50, I remember my neighbor upstairs, Alfredo and I had transitioned to an apartment because we had purchased, had already purchased our space here in Panama. And we knew we were we were going to be transitioning. So we sold property and everything like that, and then ended up buying again. But in any event, we moved to an apartment because we leased an apartment because it was just more stable. Back then, a lot of people were going through bankruptcy. People were leasing spaces and then finding out the owners weren't paying their mortgage. I don't use landlord, tenant, that kind of language. And I say we lease, we don't rent. But anyway, there were some people that had moved in upstairs, okay? Baby, let me tell you something. I had worked all day. Back then, I've been an entrepreneur, y'all, all my life. Back then, I was still in corporate America, full-time, but I was heavy part-time with my Locks Forever Sister Locks business. And so I had to do an install like that next day. And so that night, I came, that evening, I got off of work, I went into the shop, I prepped my client, got a lot of the work done so I wouldn't have to do it early in the morning because I knew it was going to be an early day, and I was feeling good, baby, because, I had my little stuff together. And when I got up, instead of having to start fresh with that head, I already had some sections, and we was doing a lot, right? Go to lay down, took my shower, go to lay down, and I hear this loud noises coming from upstairs. Boom, 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 like they was moving furniture, dancing. I don't know what they was doing, but they had been making a lot of noise anyway. They had just moved in, and I had took my little, I went up to speak to them. First of all, I give them a couple weeks. When people move in, give them some grace, y'all. They working, they trying to get stuff, together with the house. So if they moving stuff a little bit late, I give you a little bit of grace, okay? Because I understand your time is limited. But this was like a month. I had a month or more. I had been to the management office about these people making all this damn noise. And then I had gone up, before then and, tried to speak to them. They didn't answer. I left them a nice little note. Still, okay, this particular night, when I was feeling totally groovy and happy with myself, and they started making all that noise, ooh, get my cheering out of here. Baby, I like to lost it. No, I did lose it. I was so pissed off. It was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I had left my house literally at 6 o'clock that morning and had been working straight, and I just wanted a good night's sleep. And here they come with this mess. So I got up, I got the broom, and I bam, 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 bamming on the ceiling. And I said, shut the F up. And I was hot. I was hot. And then I don't remember if they stopped or not. I don't remember if they actually stopped making that noise at that moment or not, because my focus shifted. Because when I laid back down in that bed, let me tell you something. I could feel my heart beating in my feet. My heart was beating so hard that it had taken over my whole body. I felt my heart beating in my whole body. I felt the pulse of my heart in my feet. And the reason why I probably can't remember whether they stopped making the noise or not, because at that point I was listening to me, baby. And I started to pray. I said, oh my God, these people don't know me. These people don't care nothing about me. I done let myself get this upset over other people, okay? And I said, I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack or something. And I said, God, just let me get through this moment. And I never ever, anytime that I want to get really, really pissed off about something, I still get pissed off about stuff. But I think about that moment, and I said to myself, that was extreme. But every time that we allow others to get into us and to make us feel that way, get that so pissed off about some shit you can't change no way, right? Probably. I can't really control what them people was doing upstairs in that room. But I said, at this age, my organs have been working a long time. It's just like a car, and it's like, you might have been able to do that kind of stuff in your 20s because your stuff is a lot younger. But 50s and 60s, you keep letting somebody upset you like that, you finna die. You finna die. I said, every time that I do that, every time I get stressed out, it's all the physiological stuff, right? Y'all, you can feel it in your body. Sometimes, boom, it goes right to your stomach. Sometimes your heart starts beating fast. Sometimes you start to, you start to sweat. Your head might start to hurt. Those are warning signs. Those are warning signs. There are negative things happening in your body that are brought on by that stress and that tension and that anger that you've allowed to build up. So ever since then, I have learned to sleep on things, and I don't respond to things like right as soon as they happen, because more than likely I'm emotional. I'm going to say something that I'm probably either going to want or need to apologize for the next day. So I've learned that, and I've learned to put things in perspective. Like, is it really worth all that? I mean, honestly, are you and your opinion or whatever it is that you're doing right now worth all of this that I'm putting myself through? I don't know who that was for, but listen, calm down, okay? Don't let people get you all upset, and I think that will help you to live longer. So listen, that was a public service announcement. Y'all don't owe me nothing for that. It's free. I'm getting ready to go into this grocery store and get me some little staples. And then I'm going about my day. I want to have you ask you to watch Dr. Thion's docuseries. It's called The Black Blue Zone. I also want to remind you that Black Circle is coming, baby. Black Circle, you will be able to download that app by invitation in September. We'll be talking more about that until it gets there. And I'm so happy because a lot of times y'all will send me messages and say, hey, first of all, I don't let people advertise on the Facebook group. There are places for you to advertise your business. You can advertise your business on the BEIP B2B network page. You can come to the BEIP B2B meetups every second Wednesday and advertise your business there. But everybody can't advertise their business and their ministries and their whatever they're doing on the Facebook group. We have thousands and thousands. I don't even know how many people we have right now. I don't know. I think we probably have about 13,000 in the Facebook group, the major Facebook group. And just imagine if everybody did that. Y'all stop sending me messages on Facebook and Messenger and stuff like that. If you need to contact me, send me an email. And that's a whole nother story. I don't know where I got it at, but I just thought about, the social media. You know how many pages and social media accounts we have? Other people are managing that now, thank God. And so, if you need to holler at me, but not through social media. Send something to info@blackexpatsinpanama.net. It will get to me. Okay, but Black Circle is coming, and when y'all say, well, I need a dentist, I need this, I need a cleaning service, I need, all kind of stuff. You ask, I am not qualified to make all of these recommendations. I can make recommendations for services that I've used or that I know a lot about, but you deserve more than that. So one of the things that, baby, I'm so excited with Black Circle. One of the things that it's going to do is it is going to have an angels list. And an angels list is going to be similar to like an Angie's list, where you will not be able to pay to get on this list. Okay, as a business, if you're doing good business, somebody else can recommend y'all. For those of y'all that have been following Black Expats in Panama since the beginning, do y'all remember when I did this? But of course, I was so unsophisticated about it. And I said, listen, y'all can't advertise on this page. But if you know people that are giving a good service, I did a Google Doc and let everybody, recommend these people. Do they speak English? Then give them a rating, and then so that people could go. And I gave them a time, to fill this thing out. This is what that's going to be. You're only going to be on this angels list by recommendation. And then don't get comfortable. So don't think that you can have somebody recommend you as doing good business and you're not really doing good business, because it is directly connected to a review system. So if you get on there and you're not doing good business, you will be removed, period, because people have the access to do a review, an in-community review. Oh my God, it's going to be so awesome. You're going to have, it's just so much. But that's one of the things that's going to be really, really cool about that. And I don't know why I started talking about, jobs and stuff. I don't know, y'all. Maybe I better go on to work. But anyway, that business to business on September 9th, we are having a special business to business, a BEIP business to business. It is going to be at the Afro Lab in San Francisco. It's on 77 East Street, I believe. And it is the beloved Chef Isaac and Chef Armando of La Tapa del Coco. A little backstory on Chef Isaac. Chef Isaac he has been a part of my tour, every single tour. Basically, this brother auditioned to be the person, the restaurant that we took our people to on my tour on our city suburb day. And when I tell you, oh my goodness, the accomplishments, the business moves, the community service that he has made individually, and La Tapa del Coco has made as a group since then, is absolutely mind-blowing. So not only are we going to get to experience his newest location, which is a lab. It's a lab where he can go there and make cooking shows. It's a space where you can have events. Very, very, very nice. But not only that, in appreciation for Black expats and the support that Black expats has given him over these years, he is inviting us to his new space. We're going to be in his new space on September 9th at 6:30 p.m. We will not be at Global Hotel, okay? Just for this one, we will not be at Global Hotel. We're going to be with Chef Isaac and Armando and the La Tapa group, okay? He is providing bites, he's going to have food for you to eat, and he's going to have cocktails as well. You don't want to miss it. But here's the thing. We have a limited amount of space. It ain't going to be no showing up at the door. I know y'all do that sometimes. At our events, and most of the time it's fine. We can work it out, or somebody said they was coming and didn't come, and we will never turn you away if we don't have to. However, this is a special event, and I'm going to need for y'all to RSVP. And with that said, let me tell you something. Baby, I hope I wasn't, this is loud. We have so many RSVPs right now, okay? So if you're planning on coming, send us a reservation at reservations@blackexpatsinpanama.net, because when we reach that number, we will close it, and when you're not going to be able to walk up to this, okay? Because he's just going through too much to prepare for a certain number of people, okay? And it's complimentary to you. I cannot wait for y'all to see this space. I mean, this company, when you talk about doing business in Panama, and you talk about this brother remembers being 10 years old when, Chef Isaac, being 10 years old when Panama was lifted out of a dictatorship. Just to come from that and to hear his perspective on that when he was part of our B2B forum, which, let me know if y'all want to do that again. yeah, it's just amazing. So you don't want to miss that. As far as our other events, they are as they are at this time. And when we're ready to change things, we will let you know. I don't know. We were getting a lot of calls the other day. Dr. Thayan is sending me a message right now, and I'm talking about it. Her ears must be burning. But we were getting a lot of calls about an event that we didn't have anything to do with. And I just want you to know that when we do events, BEIP is a brand. BEIP is a registered brand, BEIP. If you do not see Black Expats in Panama, which is a registered trademark, or if you don't see BEIP, which is a registered trademark, it's not our event. So not to say it won't be a nice event or anything, but it's not my event. And also, no matter what it is, whether it's people that are, dealing with, professionals and people that we have in our group, it doesn't matter. There seems to be a lot of confusion lately. And BEIP is BEIP. BEIP and Black Expats in Panama is just that. And I said what I said. So, yeah. So, but anyway, I'll keep you posted. And I want you to know that I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the encouragement. I appreciate y'all saying, how much you love Walking and Talking with You. And to be honest with you, I was thinking of talking about something completely different. But Walking and Talking with You is just that. I'm just walking and talking with you. I'm just speaking out of my heart. Okay? And I really appreciate having the space to do that. I'm here with you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Have a great day, guys. Que tengas un buen día.